The king in the north! The king in the north!
Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. Now let's just get into it. So I asked y'all to drop questions in the community chat. Y'all did, so let's go. So first question from Daniel Tavera 9968 says, do you think that Ryan Day decided to go hard on NIL plan and buying a super team in response to Michigan winning the Natty? And do you think a lot of the players that had decided to forego the draft and stay for another year on response to us winning the Natty? Yeah, I think at this point Ryan Day had to. You know, he had to go hard in the portal to build a team to beat Michigan, because it's one thing if Michigan just beat Ohio State again. You know, yeah, he's going to get some fan pressure and pressure from the university. It's another thing for Michigan to beat Ohio State, then win the Natty. Like, it don't get worse than that for an Ohio State fan, because in a 3-year span, with you being the coach, not only have we lost to Michigan, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row, and they won the Big Ten. This wasn't happening before you came, bruh. This wasn't happening before you came, bruh. So, yeah, the pressure is on him to build a team that can not only beat Michigan, but, you know, because they say they don't worry about us, they worry about natties. So, to not only beat Michigan, but to also win a natty. Yeah, so he went hard for that reason, because that his seat's warming up. It might, if it ain't hot, it's getting close to it. So, yeah, this is a big year for him. So, he had to go all in. Now, the players, a lot of them, some of them's draft stock wasn't that high, honestly. So, they came back for that. And some of them, yeah, you're the team, you're the guys that have been losing to Michigan consistently when it hasn't been like that for a while. So, yeah, some of them dudes, they don't got no gold pants. They don't know what that is. They ain't never seen them in person. They ain't seen no gold pants. So, yeah, some of them, they had to, you know, they wanted to come back and, you know, try to win a natty and also beat Michigan, because you ain't did it. So, yeah, I think that's true on both ends, you know, because if you go to Ohio State, one of the big things is to beat Michigan. Same way as if you go to Michigan, the big thing is you beat Ohio State. Regardless of the records or whatever not, we need to win this one. So, you know, it hurts those players. You see clips of CJ Stroud, players talking, you know, the trash talk, and y'all ain't beat Michigan. Well, you had a team full of these NFL receivers. You ain't do much with it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't win no championship. You didn't win the Big Ten or a natty. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it has to, those players have to feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're not getting any type of championship. You at least no Big Ten championship. I know Ohio State fans are going to say, well, we don't care about Big Ten championship. Yeah, something is better than nothing. So you don't mind not winning the Big Ten? Come on. So, yeah, on both fronts, I think that's true. Ryan Day went all in because he needs to, and Michigan just won a natty. And the players seeing losing to Michigan consistently and having that monkey on their back, so to speak. Let's see. Appreciate the comment, Joel Slenick. He says, do you believe Jaden Davis will improve enough to take over at QB midseason? If we lose a couple games, I'm thinking late October time frame. I'm not sure if he'll be ready this year. And they say him and his family want a red shirt this year. So I'm not sure if he'll be ready to take over. It's a lot for a freshman to take over to start as a freshman. And that's at any position. You know what I'm saying? It usually takes them about half the year to get comfortable, to be a full-time starter. Now you might see him at other positions. You might see him get in here or there, or you sprinkle him in a little bit. But it's usually hard for a freshman to really become a full-time starter. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we'll see Jaden Davis take the starting job this year, honestly. You never know. But honestly, I don't think that's part of the plan. You know, if that happens, something probably done went wrong. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we don't see him, because if we see Jaden Davis, something that's probably went wrong in the season. Honestly, I hate to say that, but it probably is. User ZN, he says, Johnny, does Mike Sanders still remind you of a Charles Woodson in a way? And also, do you feel we have enough talent to run it back? Are we even or over Ohio State as far as talent wise? In college, well, I'll say this. In college, Sanders still reminds me of Woodson because they both made big plays. I make big plays and that's it. So, but that's as far as big plays, like getting turnovers and, you know, getting a pick six, getting a scoop and score. He reminds me of Woodson in that type of way. But the way he played in college reminds me of NFL Woodson in Green Bay. Because in Green Bay, Woodson became a jack of all trades. We'll put him at safety. We'll put him at outside corner. We'll put him at nickel. We'll blitz him. He was good at everything. And that's what Sanders still was for Michigan last year. So the comparison that I would say wouldn't be Woodson in college. It would be Woodson in Green Bay when they won the Super Bowl. When Woodson was doing everything. Anything you asked him to do, he could do, and he was good at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the comparison. Not, I wouldn't say the same as in college, but the Woodson in Green Bay is the guy I would compare him to as far as Woodson. But Mikey was a leader. He definitely led that defense and the team somewhat, as far as I'm going to make a play. Whether it was Maryland game, whether it was one of the cupcakes we played, whether it was the national championship, I'm going to make a play. Yeah, I might give up a play, but I'm going to make a big time play to change the game. So, yeah, he does remind me of the Green Bay Woodson. Let's see, what else did you say? Do you feel we have enough talent to run it back? Honestly, we'll see. I feel like we have enough talent because the goal changes this year. We have enough talent to get in the playoff, but it's going to come down to how good is our quarterback. That's the big question. How good is your quarterback? If Alex Orji comes out and he can give us something like Milroe, and that's just the closest comparison I can make because they're both big, fast type of guy, so that's just the closest comparison. If he can give us close to that, yeah, we can. We most likely can. I mean, we still have to see how good the offensive line is, but as far as giving us a chance to win another championship, if the quarterback, whoever it is, can make enough throws to keep the box from getting stacked, yeah, we got a chance at running it back, because you just have to make the playoff. Once you make the playoff, you give yourself a chance, because you're gonna get a nice little break to get healthy and all right, let's lock in and go for another championship run. You know what I'm saying? And I also think a lot of people don't realize it's not a 14 playoff anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to go undefeated anymore. Yeah, you'll get a better seeding and you get a bye week, but you don't have to, before you had to be undefeated just to get in, pretty much, to guarantee you're in. It's not like that anymore. So we just have to win enough games to get in. And then, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So that's a question mark. I can't say for sure because I don't know how good this offensive line is going to be, which I trust it will be good with Sharon. But the quarterback is the real question mark. And that's when you got a question mark at quarterback, that's a big question mark. Same with Ohio State. They can get all the hype they want to, but that most important position is still a question mark. So I still got questions for you. You know what I'm saying? We got a great skill positions. We got great running backs. We got a great defense. Who is your quarterback? Because he's going to have to make some big-time throws. I don't care how good Judkins is. I don't care how good Donovan Edwards is. I don't care how good Khalil Mullins is. I don't care how good Travion Henderson is. That quarterback is going to have to make some big-time throws in big-time games to win you a championship. He is. So, that's where I'm at. Are we even or over Ohio State as far as talent-wise? As far as talent, I would probably say Ohio State has more talent. With us losing so many dudes, I would say Ohio State has more talent, especially at receiver. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? So that's just especially this year with us losing so much. Yeah, they probably have more talent, honestly, total. With them having so many dudes come back on defense, adding Caleb Downs, adding Judkins. With Travion, with the young receivers they got, with Mbuka, you know what I'm saying? They probably got more talent than us, definitely. But that don't mean that they guaranteed to beat us. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause Michigan still got a lot of talent. They don't have as much as Ohio State, which is why Ohio State is probably going to be number one and favored, and all this. But Ohio State still has a big question mark at quarterback, and as do we. It just so happens they have more returning talent than us. We lost a ton. Everybody knows that. So right now, definitely they got more talent than us, but that don't mean they unbeatable for us. So don't think that, especially not with our defense. Let's see, Corey Banks, what's up, Jo? A lot of people think we are going to fall off the map. I think we are more than capable enough to run the Big Ten for a fourth consecutive year, especially with the defense. I'm curious, what do you think is the ceiling floor to this team? Go Blue. I think the ceiling for this team is probably maybe one loss through the regular season, maybe. Possibly undefeated. If Alex Orji or whoever the starter is at quarterback can continue what JJ left off, the ceiling is undefeated and running it right back. 17-0. No, I guess that would be 18 because you got to play one more. You know what I'm saying? That's the ceiling. With that defense, with Donovan Edwards, with Colston Loveland, that's the ceiling to me. Maybe one loss. With a lot of new starters. You might slip up once. But that's the ceiling to me is about the same. To me, it's possible with that defense and so much talent. It's that quarterback. That's the big question, is the quarterback. I know people are going to say, you keep harping on it. It's that important. So I'm going to have to harp on it or else I'm just lying to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But to me, that's the ceiling. Now, the floor, now, if that quarterback ain't what we think it is and that offensive line ain't what we think it could be, probably 8-5 or something like that. Probably 4-5 losses. Then that's probably losing to Texas, losing to Texas, Oregon, USC, Washington, and Ohio State. Pretty much all of our big games. You know what I'm saying? That's the floor, And if that's the floor, that's basically saying our offensive line ain't what we want it to be. So Donovan in the backs can't eat, and the quarterback is just not there. You know what I'm saying? And I say that's the floor because there's still question marks. We have to see it. Yeah, we can trust in Sharon Moore that the offensive line is going to be that, but we still got to see it. Yeah, we can have faith that Alex Orji might be something like Jalen Milroe or might be a stud, but we still got to see it. Or Davis Warren, whoever's the quarterback, we still have to see it. We hope. We hope that they're that, but we still got to see it. You know what I'm saying? So I think the floor is about 8-5, and the ceiling is probably like 17-1 or something like that. 7 or 16-2, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Losing a couple games, but making the playoff and making that run. So, yes, sir. 23 Tails, appreciate your comments. Johnny, could you go back and watch 2023 spring game? I know Tuttle gets hurt, but man, he looked poised, doesn't chop his feet, and we know he runs, although he stays hurt. Yeah, I've seen that, and with Tuttle. Tuttle has looked good since he's been at Michigan. The problem is we haven't seen him in any meaningful snaps. I know somebody could say, well, they're all meaningful snaps. When you come in and a team is deflated and the score is 45-6, that defense is deflated. You know what I'm saying? And you coming in hungry as the backup trying to showcase your talents. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. The spring game, it's just another practice. So that's the problem to me is we haven't seen Tuttle in actual meaningful games at Michigan. All we've seen is garbage time and spring game. You know what I'm saying? Which some people take more than that than I do. I don't take much from it because one's a practice where they both split teams. It's not a first team versus first team offense, first team defense. It's all mix and match. And in the garbage times, you're playing deflated teams. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different. Now, hey, Tuttle might be ready to take that job and be that dude. I just don't. I haven't seen it in any meaningful snaps. I want to see meaningful snaps. So I can, it's tangible. I can say, hey, we saw him against Nebraska starters. We saw him against Michigan State, or, you know what I'm saying, somebody's starters while the game is actually close. It's meaningful snaps, not garbage times. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. Like I just can't. I don't take much from those. I take something from it, but with a grain of salt. Let's see. Appreciate the comment. Michigan go blue. He says, do you think that the defense could be just as good as last year? I think so. I think the defense definitely has the chance to be as good as last year. Now, you still got some question marks. Losing Sanger still is going to hurt a leader like that. But most of the other positions, and Rod Moore, he's a good leader, and he's going to study so much film. That's like a coach on the field almost. But the guys that are there and are still playing, they're pretty high caliber, or they've been around a long time, like Makari Page, Quentin Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your studs, Will Johnson. You got your young studs, Will Johnson, Barham or Barham. I always say it wrong. Hausman. These are young studs going into their junior year. Like, this is money time for them dudes. Will Johnson, Barham, Hausman, Kenneth Grant, what's his name? Mason Graham, Josiah Stewart, Derek Moore coming in his junior year. Like, you got a lot of young studs on this defense coming into their peak for college, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So it has the potential to me. Now, the one question mark is depth. Depth at edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? And probably D tackle. Well, maybe D tackle more than edge. You know what I'm saying? Rashawn Benny's still around, but he's coming off injury. You don't know how far along he'll be. when he'll be ready. Rashawn Benny may not be fully back to himself until maybe the end of the year. We just don't know, you know? So, but for the most part, the starters that are there, they going to be lights out. You know what I'm saying? And the linebackers that Barham and Hausman, I think they're going to be slick better than Junior Colson and Barrett. I know that's saying something, but I think they have the possibility to be. You know what I'm saying? And dudes like Zeke Berry's going to be playing this year, and I think he's ready to go. You saw in the spring game, he was flying around. You know what I'm saying? So I think the defense does have the possibility to be better as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And also being in the same system again for another year. Yeah, it's got a different coach, but it's the same system. So I think everything is there for the defense to be lights out. Will they be as good as last year's? We're going to have to wait and see, but I think it's a possibility, honestly, because they're just bringing back so much talent and guys that have been in the system. You know what I'm saying? So that's half the battle, is having guys that know what they're doing. Can't play fast and physical if you don't know what you're doing. So I definitely think it's a possibility. This is another one from James Cooper. He says, do you think our defense can be better than last year's given the development and growth of Mason and Will Johnson being healthy? Yeah, and like I was just saying, it's a possibility. I think Will Johnson is going to be better than last year. I know people think, oh, well, he was out there. Well, just because you're out there, yeah, you're out there. There's no excuses, but that don't mean you're at your peak. You know what I'm saying? Will Johnson had surgery last offseason, plus he was dinged up throughout the season. Hell, he left the Ohio State game halfway through. So, and when I watched him, like the Minnesota game, he got a pick six, and I was like, he's not running right. He's not running like he did last year. So I think Will Johnson, if he stays healthy, he's going to be really shutting dudes down. Like, I'm back to my full potential and form like I was as a freshman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to seeing if he can get back to that level that he was. You know what I'm saying? Mason Graham, he's coming to his own. Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, those dudes should just be beasting. You know what I'm saying? Because they're higher caliber than like Chris Jenkins. Their caliber is higher than his. You know what I'm saying? So those dudes are first rounders. Plus you got Rashawn Benny, which I spoke on. We'll see how he'll come along this year, you know, coming off of the injury from the Bama game. But Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, those dudes are studs, and they're coming into their peak of dominance, honestly. And as is Derek Moore, as is Josiah Stewart, who was a blessing for him to come back. You know what I'm saying? So that front seven is going to be nasty. That front seven is going to be nasty, honestly. So, let me see. Where did I leave off? Gregory Moore says, where do you think Walker will fit in upon his return? Amari Walker will probably be on defense. I mean, not defense. He'll be on offense because he didn't want to play defense, and honestly, he wants to be on offense, and we need him on offense, honestly. So I think that's the big thing with him. He's going to come back to play offense, and we need that speed and that size. Let's see. It says, James Cooper with another question. It says, Hassan Haskins a good comparison for Khalil Mullins, or is it a lazy comparison based solely? I think that's a good comparison because they both have the size and this kind of speed, the same kind of speed. They're built similar. They're built very similar. So I do think that they will be. I think that's a great comparison, honestly. Do I think there's a problem with NIL? If so, is it because of Ward Manuel? The NIL is Michigan wants to be Michigan, where we don't do this and we don't want to pay players up front, which I get. You know what I'm saying? So all of that's part of Michigan. Ward Manuel has something to do with it, but it's about we're Michigan. We're not going to do it this way. We do things our way. We're not going to cater and you get left behind. So I think that's all part of the NIL thing. And who wants to just pay these players without them playing? Because they'll transfer. They'll transfer. So that's a big thing. Jay Marion says, what's up, J.O.? Thoughts on OSU fans / media thinking they're back in charge because in their minds they feel Michigan lost everything and not realizing that we have what we have coming back. Some of them are really lost when it comes to Michigan's roster. Yeah, a lot of them are lost. A lot of them don't understand what Michigan is bringing back. They just hear the 44 seniors left and they just think Michigan has nothing coming back. You know what I'm saying? They downplay Donovan Edwards like he didn't shred him in 2022, or they didn't even watch the national championship. 6 carries, 100 yards, 2 TDs. Hello. They don't think about that. They just, it's over. They don't. Colston Loveland, who you torched them, they forget about him being probably the best tight end in college football. They don't think about that stuff. They just think about, we're back. Ohio State fans are depressed right now. They want anything to be happy about. They want anything to be happy about and feel good about. They got punched in the stomach when they saw that NCAA football video game cover with Donovan Edwards front and center. Why is he on there? We've got Judkins. We've got Travion. Donovan didn't do anything. Well, if you watch the national championship, you would see that he on 6 carries, he pretty much won that game for us on the biggest stage. Not a small stage, not a medium stage, or the biggest stage in college football. That's what he did. You didn't see it? Did you see it? You might not have seen it because your team wasn't in it, so you might have missed it. So they're mad about all that stuff, and they're not gonna understand. A lot of them just think we have nothing, and it's really they're just hoping. They're hoping for the worst for Michigan. They're just hoping. They lost all their coaches, so they're gonna be bad. They lost all those players. They're gonna be bad. They're just hoping. They don't want to hear that we brought all those defensive players back and, Sharon Moore is great at coaching offensive line and we got Donovan. We still got Colston Loveland and Orgy might be that dude. They don't want to hear none of that. They're just hoping for the worst for Michigan. So I'll just let them be. And, I talk my stuff because they can't really say nothing. They can't say nothing. That's all they can do is hope for the worst for us. So I just let them be, and we got a lot of trash talking because the game ain't till November. So hey, regardless of who we win, beat, or lose to, that don't save y'all from the trash talk until y'all win again. So y'all can get ready for it. But that's all I got on this one, y'all. I appreciate all the comments, and I might do another one, or we'll see how it goes. But like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.
It's great to be a